All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome, one and all. My name is Chris. This is my channel. We love comics, and hopefully you guys are ready to see some Golden Age beauty. It's one of the things I love collecting, and these days, with people always seeming to get what I like to call the quote-unquote flavor of the month, for some reason, Golden Age books seem to be, left behind a lot of times, and that gives people like me and others the chance to get some very interesting older books from the Golden Age that you can get for pretty reasonable prices. So if you have not had the chance to dip your toe into the Golden Age pool, I highly recommend trying it because you can get some pretty good deals on some very old comics. Now, the comics I'm going to be showing, they're not going to be those generic love story ones or the cowboy kind of stuff, and I don't collect the horror stuff, so it won't be anything like that. Not saying it's bad, it's just not my cup of tea. What I'm going to be showing is superhero books, ones that everybody wants. And when you see the prices on these, you're going to be a little shocked. So I see people are already starting to have a dialogue here. I'm going to give people about another minute or two before I put on the camera and start showing these books. Give people a moment to see that the video is live, because you guys know YouTube doesn't like to notify people even when you hit the notification button. So I just want to remind people, if you're interested in any of my comic book mystery boxes, there is a link in the description. I'm still selling those, a wide variety of books. If you want to make a choice, if you want all DC or all Marvel, or if you want variety, you could let me know. Obviously, you can't pick a specific book, because otherwise it's not a mystery. But they are still available. The link is at the bottom of the description of this and every video. And don't forget to sign up for the cashback program so you can get $10 cash back if you spend $25 or more on your first purchase. And it is free to do, and it also helps my channel out because I get a one-time little fee for that if somebody pays for something within the 90 days. So I think enough people are here. Now, I always make sure I say hello to the people that get here early, and I see there was already a lot of dialogue happening before I even started. That's always nice to see. So Mr. Comics 89, you are first today. Welcome. We got Noah, we got Johnny Future, we got Herbert, we got John Alfonso, we've got Horror Breakdown, good to see you. Greg A, I Like Donuts 57. We got Florence is here, good to see you. Mark G is here. And let's see, we got Lewis. And we see Eddie from Heroes to Icons. We got Mr. Love Comic Art. Forgive me, I'm just not going to even try and say your name because I know I'll butcher it. Chris is here. Awesome first name. Robert Michael P. And yeah, I was just going to say, where's Telepathy? He should have known there's a video. He's definitely slacking. And last but not least, Captain Crunch. I almost did not see your name because it was scrolling by a little too fast, but I did see it. So if you get here early, you are one of the people that get those shout-outs. But if you also stay until the end, you might be one of the people to get the surprise subscriber shout-out. So hopefully you'll stick around and enjoy these. All right, so I have two packages. These are both from the Golden Age, one from 1942, another from 1941. So let's start opening these. This one I'm the most concerned about. I mean, especially the book in this kind of envelope. One of the things I always tell people is when you buy something anywhere online, especially Amazon or eBay, make sure you just don't assume that a seller knows or even cares about how to package a comic correctly. So make sure you send a notification to them, send them an email, and say, hi, I'd like it packaged this way and this way, and tell them, to use cardboard and stuff. Now, as you can see, they don't always listen. Some just don't care. Some, they're just going to say, all right, I'm going to play Russian roulette, because their biggest excuse is, well, I do this all the time, so, I'm going to keep doing it. Well, it only takes one time when you play Russian roulette to find the bullet, and then the game is over. So, it only hurts themselves. And you can explain that. Say, if it arrives damaged, then you get a damaged comic back, but you have to give a partial refund. So how is that helping you? Chris, what is your opinion about Mr. Alex Ross? Absolutely love his work. He is a great artist. I used to call him Bob Ross all the time by mistake, but definitely an amazing artist. Sometimes it looks like, obviously, they just get him to do a cover so they can get a quick sale. So some of his stuff sometimes seems a little generic, but overall, I mean, his artwork is absolutely beautiful. I love very realistic art, and he definitely contributes to that. All right, so they taped this pretty well. It looks like this comic is going to be fine. So I seem to dodge a lot of bullets, and even if something does happen, you know, when you contact the seller correctly, they will give you partial refunds. They'll take care of you. All right, so this is a lower grade book, but like I always say, low grade is better than no grade. And I did want to do a quick response to my good friend Reggie. He made a video the other day about talking about low grade is better than no grade. I always tell people, go with what you like and go with what you can afford. I mean, to me, I would rather have a lower grade book if that's all I can afford than to not have it and spend tons of money for one book when I could get 10 to 20 key issues at lower grades. Because, you know what, if it's everybody wants a 9.8, obviously. But if you have, for example, let's say you have a Wolverine, a Hulk 181, first Wolverine at a 9.8. You know how hard that's going to be to sell sometimes? Because not a lot of people are going to have $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to spend. You know, so you have to go with what you like. So to me, as long as it presents well and as long as I'm happy, that's all I care about. So this has a split cover, but the cover presents well. And with an older book, it kind of makes it look nostalgic. So I don't have a problem with it at all. And the good thing is, those that do are the ones that are not going to increase my bids by making it more expensive. So I'm actually glad there are people who hate lower grade stuff. To me, a comic is a comic. And when it comes to older stuff, I don't want it to look brand new. I mean, as nice as that is, it just doesn't feel as nostalgic. So here is the comic number 1. And we have Superman issue number 15. Now, this, as far as I know, and I'll have to research it a little bit more, but doesn't have anything majorly significant. But to me, to get an issue of Superman within the first 20 books, I am definitely not going to complain about. Now, one of my lower grade books, I have actually Superman number 2. Now, Superman number 2 is coverless, but it came with a facsimile cover. But I only paid, I think, like $200 for that book. That book in a 0.5 is like $2,000-$3,000. So the inside story is the same. So, you know, if people claim they love comics so much, what's wrong with a coverless book? If it ends up, you can get a book that you could not normally afford. So this one, you know, as you can see, the spine is completely split. You can see there's a couple of pieces missing on the top. Some at the bottom. Let me move my fingers so you can see it. Some at the bottom. But as you can see, I mean, this presents pretty well. So this is from 1942. Love the 10-cent price on there. You notice nowadays the $4.99 price is so small that you need like a microscope to see the price. You know, they weren't afraid to show what the price was back then. So I absolutely love this book. I think that's a beautiful cover. Now, this book was selling for $299.99 plus shipping. I, of course, want to make sure I get a very good deal on books. So even that price I thought wasn't bad, but you know me, I'm not going to pay the price that people are asking for if I don't have to. And Jose Barrera put a $1 super chat, so I want to say thank you for that. Anytime anybody does something like that, I want to make sure I let them know right away that I appreciate them. So thank you for that. And somebody did ask about my cats. Luna is starting to do better. We took her to the vet a couple of times. We increased her heart medication and everything. And she's starting to stabilize. So we almost lost her. At least I thought one night, but she's recovering. Now, obviously, she's got heart failure and she's got diabetes, which we're going to cure. You know, it's going to be forever. But if we didn't have the medication, she would be gone already. So we're extending her life, so thank you for that. And thank you, Jose, for that super chat. Okay, so like I said, this was $299.99 that they were listing it for. I contacted them. We went back and forth. And I was able to acquire this with shipping and handling for only $169. So for me, Superman number 15. Yes, it is not in the greatest of conditions, but, I mean, if you get this slab, then I will eventually get this one slabbed. That presents incredibly well and will display perfectly fine. Because one of my things is, if there's going to be damage, I'd rather the damage be along the spine. Because if this was all faded and you couldn't see what's going on or the name is gone, it doesn't have the same beautiful appeal as this. And like I said, with this kind of stuff here, where there's a couple pieces missing, considering how old this book is, back when these came out, nobody was, well, I can't say nobody, but most people were not buying them to put them in a slab and then just store them and hope for the best profit-wise. Most people bought them to read them. So, of course, a lot of them are not going to be in their greatest conditions. All right, so that was box number 1. So I only paid $169, and that's including shipping. I always make sure I include shipping costs because that adds to the price of the comic. That's what you spent. So if you spend $100 on a book and $12 to ship it, well, you didn't spend $100 for the book. You spent $112. Unfortunately, there are sellers or eBayers, or I'm sorry, YouTubers that will not, most won't say the price. I pretty much know why most don't do that, but some that do don't include the shipping cost. That's a factor in it. You know, when you're in a business, you know, you can't just say, well, I made $10,000 this month without including all the expenses. You know, you can not say it, doesn't change it. All right, so here is comic number 2. And this one they did put in a box. So this looks like it arrived very well. And of course, they put the cardboard, which is something I asked. I always tell people with cardboard, because some people use the term cardboard loosely, I tell them very thick pieces of cardboard. Something where it cannot bend. Sometimes you have to be specific and talk to people like they're 3 years old. And most will listen. All right, so this one I absolutely love. I'm so glad I have this in my collection. I just, something about Golden Age books, very nostalgic. So it's not Action Comics number 1 or Detective Comics 27 like somebody said. I wish, because I couldn't, as of now, I don't have the money even for a 0.5 or a coverless book, but who knows. So here is the second book. And before I reveal it, if anybody's kind enough to give it a thumbs up, I always appreciate that. Hit the share button, let people know. Hit subscribe if you haven't. And I will have another video tomorrow because I have a modern age steel that I won on eBay. And it's arriving sometime today, but I don't know when. So I'll be doing a video tomorrow, probably around the same time, 1 o'clock tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. So if you don't get the notification, you know in advance that I'm doing that video. And it cost me $32 more than what I spent on it because I actually didn't have enough funds at the bank at the time. So I got a $32 overdraft fee. So I have to include that. But even with that, I probably saved about $700 on that book. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. So here is the second book. This is from 1941. The other one was from 1942. And we have Superman issue number 8. So this now is my second book in the top 10, well, the first 10 issues of Superman. So like I said, I have issue number 2, but it is coverless. So this one I was so happy to get. Now you can see, of course, the top, there's some little bit of some missing pieces. Let me see the spine. The spine is intact. So you can see a little bit. I mean, obviously, you know, from 1941, you're talking decades before they even had bags and boards. And that's another thing I tell people, you know, Mylars and all that debate, you can have whatever debate you want. Remember, there was no such thing as a Mylar for about 30 years after this was, you know, made. Many people didn't have bag and boards for these. People put them in their dressers, in their closets, with nothing. And look, it still survived. So, to me, to get these books is just artwork, it's history. And again, as you could see, the cover presents beautifully. Now, obviously, because of the damage and everything, I would say this is probably around the 2.0 range. But I mean, even if that comes back, and again, this is a book I will eventually get graded, even if it comes back a 2.0, I'm not disappointed in this at all. So with this book, I paid a little bit more than that one, but for the price, I still cannot complain for a Superman issue under issue 10. Now, again, this doesn't have anything majorly significant, but it's just the fact that it's an old version of Superman. I mean, we just had Action Comics 1000 come out. This is Superman number 8. Now, obviously, Action Comics came out a little bit earlier than the Superman, but that's okay. I think Superman came out in 1939, the first Superman number 1. And Action Comics came out the year before in 1938. So with shipping and handling, I paid $421.90 for this book. And considering it looks, well, obviously I'm going to have to check it, make sure it's complete. The staples are intact, but I will have to check that as well. Make sure you check your books. I cannot complain. So I got 2 books from the first 20 issues. So we got Superman issue number 15, paid $169. And then Superman number 8, which I paid, again, it was $421.90, and that includes shipping and handling. So 2 Superman books from the 1940s, Golden Age goodness, proudly will be displayed one day when I get these graded. So as you can see, especially number 15, the person was selling it for $299.99. I got him down to $169. Under $500 for issue number 8 of Superman. I mean, you see Spider-Man number 8 selling for around $200-300 in lower grade. And this is about 20 years earlier than that book. So, I mean, the good thing is, like I said, most people, for some reason, stay away from Golden Age books, and they concentrate more on modern books, which makes these very affordable. Now, obviously, $400 isn't something most people, especially, you know, if you're a kid or a teenager or a person going to college, not many people can just pull out $400. But you would think something that this old and, you know, that amazing condition, considering even in lower grade, that you would think would be a lot more money. I mean, to get a number 15 for under $200, to me, that blows me away. So I'm telling you, if you haven't had the opportunity to get Golden Age books, now might be the time to do it. Because if there is a comic book crash, I mean, when it happens, a lot of the new stuff is going to go away. A lot of the collectors that are buying the flavor of the month will disappear. And then all of a sudden, people might be going back to nostalgia, which means Silver Age and Golden Age. So you may see spikes in these prices eventually. Don't wait until the last minute. You know, the beautiful thing is, if you look, what's the harm in looking? You never know. You just might stumble across a deal and now have a piece of history. So I love the fact that most people care about the newer books that, you know, like, for example, how bad did I try and warn people about Thor 390? I was warning people that that was going to drop. Now, I did say it would probably take 6 months. There were people selling that book for over $100. I won't say who, but one of my subscribers actually messaged me to thank me because they were asking me about that book about a week ago. And I told them, sell it. You could buy it back for 1/10 of the price that you paid for it. So he sold it, or she sold it. I'm not going to say who. But they sold it for around $130. That book right now is selling now for about $30. So just imagine if you are the person that bought that book, following all the hype and all the people that are trying to make profit off of you, and spent $130 and find out less than a week later that book is now $30. You're not going to be very happy. So I know there are people that for some reason don't like my advice or don't want to hear it because I go against what a lot of people say. I'm trying to help people save their money. Because if you really wanted that book, all you had to do was wait 1 week. And you would have gone from $100 to $130 purchase to a $30 purchase. I tell people all the time, do not use your emotions. Have patience. It's not like you did have to wait 6 months. I actually was amazed how quickly it dropped. You know, these flavor of the months is like taking a rock, throwing it up in the air. It'll get up pretty high, but it shoots straight down. Let that be a lesson to you. So if you bought that book and you spent more than $30 on that book, and I warned people, I said, don't spend more than $20 on that book, I'm sure you're probably going to be more disappointed. Now, some will argue and say, well, I love the book. Well, if you love the book, I'm sure you would love it a lot more if you spent 30 instead of 130. So you can't justify mistakes. Own up to them and use them as very expensive learning lessons to never do it again. So hopefully people will listen to my advice, because I'm not trying to ruin people's day. I'm not trying to disappoint them. I'm trying to make them think in a different way so they can use their money wisely. Now, obviously, if you have a trust fund and you have millions of dollars in your account and you could throw money away, hey, spend it the way you want. And like I've always said, my advice, whether you succeed with it or whether you fail and don't listen to it, I don't earn anything from it anyway. I'm just trying to help because I have enough experience to know how certain things go. Doesn't mean I get everything right. Moon Knight says, I'm looking for Thanos 13. Does that book have staying power? That depends on what they do with the character. What I always tell people is do your research and just be very careful. A lot of those books, you don't hear about that much anymore. I mean, remember when Weapon H was the biggest thing? How many people are looking for Weapon H anymore? Look at the prices of how they've gone down. So, can Thanos 13 stand the test of time? It always depends on the people. The problem is, the companies know that they could sucker most people by making a first appearance of some new character, and everybody will flock to it, and then there will be people who will sell it for 10 times what it's worth before it hits the shelves. And then, if it's not good, people walk away, and the price shoots down. So be very careful. If you want something, sometimes you just got to be patient. And Love Comic Art says, what's your opinion about Hulk 181? To me, that's a must-own book in any grade. What I would recommend is make sure that the Hulk 181 or Hulk 180 has its Marvel stamp. That is very important because that little tiny 1-inch by 1-inch square that gets cut out makes it go from a $1,000 book to about a $600 book. It goes from a complete book to an incomplete book. I've been telling people for years, get that book. So, if you can get it in any grade, get it. Because remember, Disney now owns Fox properties, which includes Wolverine. They've already said that it's going to be a couple of years. Now, also keep in mind, Marvel lies a lot. Just look at their trailers. So, just because they say that, like they've said that the X-Men won't come for another 10 years, do you think something that is going to make them a poop load of money, do you think they're going to really wait 10 years before they introduce one X-Men character? There is no way that that's going to happen. I would be shocked if they didn't put something in within the next 5 years. But keep in mind, Marvel lies. Now, of course, they do it because they don't want to spoil everything. But don't believe what they say, because like I said, all you have to do is look at their trailers. They purposely do things so you don't know what's going on. So me as a business person, and me knowing how corporations work, Disney would be absolutely stupid to wait 10 years and make most people forget about it and lose all of that hype and then introduce the X-Men. They are already planting the seeds with what's going on with Endgame and the new Spider-Man movie. Now, in case you haven't seen that movie or seen those trailers, I'm not going to say what it is, but they've already opened the door as how the other characters can come into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There is no way they're going to wait 10 years. So, always ask for deals. Do not base it on emotion. If you see the book that you love, don't just say, oh my God, there's the book I've been waiting for years, and there it is. Buy, 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 and you spend too much money. Ask for a deal. Pass up on it. If you see many of the books that I've gotten over the years that I've shown on my videos, they were books that took me years to get that I really wanted. And I saw auction after auction. I set a specific price when I bid. If I am outbid, I say, okay, it's not the price I'm willing to pay. I'm not going to go over that, and I'll wait for the next deal. Some people get caught in that emotion of, oh, it's getting higher. I better bid again. Oh, this is getting exciting. How is that exciting if you're overspending what you really wanted for something? Just to get something that if you would have waited a year, or like with Thor 390, you could have waited a whole week and saved 70%. Makes no sense to me. But that's why when a new item comes out, people will spend $1,000 like on the first Blu-ray, when now they could probably find it for $19.99. So you got to do what you can, but I'm trying to help you guys think in a different way to save some money. So since I got that little rant out of the way, don't forget to check out my mystery comic boxes. I hope people will order them. It helps us to eventually move, and it also, some of that does go towards medication for our cats. That's a new lovely little added thing. And I bought a whole bunch of different vitamins and like powders that can help her with her kidneys and heart and all this other stuff. So anybody that gets those mystery boxes, they do help. Let me do today's surprise subscriber shout out. We're going to go with today, Have No Fear Comics. You are today's surprise subscriber shout out. And if you are a person that has a YouTube channel and you were given today's surprise subscriber shout out and you see this, you could post a link of your channel in the description once this uploads. So anytime anybody gets a surprise subscriber shout out, if you are a person that has a YouTube channel, I will promote your channel. Because for some reason, other channels don't like to promote. I guess they don't like competition. I like to have everybody succeed. Because the more people that we can get promoting comics, the more people stay in the industry, keeping it alive, keeping this something that we love to do. So if you're kind enough to give it a thumbs up, I appreciate it. If you hit subscribe, that means I've earned your subscription. If you unsubscribe, I welcome you for being here, and you're welcome to come back anytime. And don't forget, it's not you, it's not I, it's We Love Comics. Thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Remember, my next video is tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and I'll see you then. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.